Hey folks, we're live in the studio right now. We're about to go live properly very soon. I'm just going to show you all the gubbins. Look. Stuff. Lots of stuff. My instructions: touch nothing. Answer questions responsibly, sensibly, and without swearing or slayering or falling off the chair. Here's my microphone. It's madness, isn't it? It's madness. Anyway, we've only got a couple of minutes left before we start going global, and much weirdness will ensue. So, I'll catch you on the flip side of this new adventure across the airwaves. Please keep it Celtic, and don't touch buttons and knobs and lights and switches that you don't know what you're doing anything with. It's not your responsibility. Just sit back and enjoy what unfolds. Laters! Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're doing very, very well. Now, what you just saw there, that little intro, that was me prancing and prowling around the radio studio for New Brighton Radio just prior to commencing on a gargantuan 2-hour interview session with yours truly by the great DJ radio host Justin Hopper, also a good friend of mine as well. And he got us onto his radio slot as the guest of the week, and it was fantastic. Now, I had mentioned I was going to do this, and I put the link below in the description box on the previous video. It was all over Facebook, so a lot of you guys did get in touch, and wonderful it was too. Genuinely, I just, oh my god, recognising names, because you're sitting there, you've got your earphones on, and he's in charge doing all the buttons and the switches and putting the music in and doing all the timings, asking the questions. I just go, waffle, which is what I'm good at. But there's a screen in front of me, and I could see all these names coming up, sending in emails and messages and that, like asking the Kilt-Man questions. And it was great to recognise the loads of people that I knew. Sadly, because a lot of you were asking rather naughty questions, and we couldn't repeat them. So, although we got Justin sitting on the other side of the desk, and he's going like, "Oh, we've got an absolute deluge of questions here," and I could see his eyes, and he's reading them, and he's thinking, "Can't ask any of these." And I was reading, and I was laughing, and I thought, "We're doomed here, mate. We're doomed." But it went down exceptionally well, I think. It was a good laugh. It was just an overview of Kilt-Man, of this idiot that you guys sometimes have a look at on YouTube. And a lot of you actually encounter on the streets when I'm out and about, pubbing and clubbing it. And so a bit of the backstory to Kilt-Man, pre-Kilt days, what I got up to, how this happened, where we went with this and that and the other. And then obviously from the Kilt phase onwards, and movies, whiskey, being a strippergram, a lot of stuff got in there. Marines got in there, loads of stuff really. But even then, we were scratching the tip of the iceberg, and we could have gone on for hours and hours and hours. Now, folks, I'm doing this video now because a lot of people asked, can you play the radio session? Well, I can't do it on this, obviously. Two different mediums, But what I can do, I'll put the link below, because what Justin did, although it went out live, he records the session anyway. So I've got the link to that, so I'll put that below. Now, I know YouTube can be a bit funny with putting links on to things which are not YouTube affiliated. So it might work, it might not work. I hope it does. But a lot of you did tune in and you heard it live, and that was great. And the ones who did tune in, did you hear the alarm going off? Yeah. We're only literally about, 10, 15 minutes in, something like that. And suddenly, I've got the earphones on and I'm talking away, waffle, spiel, banter. And I heard an alarm. It sounded like it's close, but because your earphones on and there's hubbub and stuff, like, look, is that here? And I'm looking at Justin, who's just over the way, and he's like, and I'm going like, blah, 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 blah. What the fuck do we do? Blah, 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 blah. And you can't swear. It's live, remember. Oh God, that was difficult. I think I did let, if you pardon the expression, I let a wee crap go. I did say the word crap. And I did swap the word fuck for damn at one stage. But I had to like slam the brakes on first. It's live, there's no delay, there's nothing you can do. You can let forth a stream of obscenities and then all you've done is just condemned yourself and got them into trouble. So why do that? It's hard not to sometimes though. But anyway, so I heard this going off and he's going like, I'm going to have to go and investigate this because it's here, it's in the building. And the building itself, folks, is in a place called Vale Park, which is on the banks of the Mersey, overlooking the Mersey, looking across to Liverpool, the bright lights of Liverpool. It's in a lovely park as well, and it's called Vale House in Vale Park. And we're upstairs, there's a big diner, restaurant, cafe thing downstairs. There's some kind of school thing going on down there, like a nursery school sort of thing, and there's exercise and fitness classes. So it's a busy little place. But anyway, so we're upstairs and it's night time now, and the evening time, and this alarm goes off and he's going, I'm going to have to go and investigate that. And like, he goes, you. I mean, this is all in hand signals. You, keep talking. And he gets up and walks out the studio. We're the only ones in there. There's no producers. There's no studio technicians or anything like that. And I thought, shit, what if he doesn't come back? Earphones on, and I'm like, gab, and I'm watching him go like that. The door shuts. Oh shit! And a few minutes go by, and I'm like, blah 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 blah. I mean, I know where my story can go. So a lot of my stories, I had to like, you know, there's a few cut-off points, right? If you stop here, you won't have to mention this bit. If you stop there, then you've mentioned that bit, and if you've mentioned that bit, then you may as well mention the next bit because people will be interested. But my stories tend to have possibly very graphic, possibly very rude, certainly very sort of not for sort of commercial radio in the evening time, you know, for possible family audiences. And so I had to like learn how to stop at a certain point, self-regulate. Never been the best at that. But so off he went. And in the meantime, that alarm had stopped, and then what you heard through your earphones and what you hear on the radio is someone's clearly banging on a door. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm like, hang on, an alarm. Someone's panicking on a door. Aren't you normally, when you hear what could be a fire alarm, meant to get up and exit via the fire exits in an orderly manner? When that fucking alarm goes off normally and you can smell fire. Whoa, that's it, fucking chucking women and kids behind you. Whoa, wow, burn them first. You like that, hightailing it. And I thought, I'm sitting here because part of me's thinking the show must go on. Anyway, so Justin come back in like, and there was sweat, it was like that. My earphones were sliding off because of all the sweat. And all it was, we had inadvertently set off the intruder alarm. Now, I mean, if Kilt-Man's going to be involved in something, you know, something untoward is going to happen. And it did. But you guys didn't know the half of it. And I won't go into all the ins and outs, but basically, it was only Justin's third session on that radio station. He's been on other radio stations. And so he's still learning the ropes as to their protocol and systems. And they've moved a board around, and this board is meant to show people downstairs, oh yeah, they're up there, they're live, they're up there, so don't put the alarm on, in other words. But the cafeteria put the alarm on because the studio had moved the board that Justin had seen the previous 2 weeks and marked himself down as like, we're live tonight. They'd moved it, so we just assumed, oh well, you know, obviously it's all sorted out, no worries, I've got to start the radio show, I've got Kilt-Man arriving any moment. So we didn't really think nothing of it. And but the fact that the cafe had shut and then turned the alarm on, and we're up there, doodly, well, I'm dancing now, like, set the alarm off, didn't we? So the poor guy came racing back from the cafe. And he's like, bang, 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 on the doors, because he can't get into our side, like. Anyway, it's just typical stuff. But it was a great laugh, and hopefully, folks, it will lead into a bit more. I mean, me and Justin went out and imbibed a plentiful whiskies afterwards, and I had a fair few to begin with as well, let's be honest. And he was saying about how maybe getting a movie slot on the radio station, or just becoming a sort of semi-regular guest, on his session. I mean, I've seen what he does, and on the hour, every hour, you've got a news report and a bit of a weather update. So you've got to, if you're interviewing someone or you're playing music, you've got to time that down. It probably doesn't sound like much to some people, but to me, who's a complete and utter technophobe and a complete and utter doofus when it comes to timing, and especially when this is in full flow, I run over stuff. We're meant to play songs as well. When we played all Scottish songs from Scottish bands, there was a theme going there, as you can tell, and but you've got to play these. They're obliged to play music and all that. So, and in the first hour, I think we played about 5 songs, maybe 5 songs, maybe 4, I don't know. And in the second one, I think we played less, and we were meant to end on a song like anyway, it's good night from Justin, and it's good night from Kilt-Man, good blah 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 blah. Everyone, stay happy, stay tuned, because next it's John with Jive Time. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But then you sieg into you play a song and it will sieg into the news report and the weather. But we fucked that one up, and we had he realised, I've timed this wrong, so I can't put a song on now. So we may as well just keep talking to the end. And he said this, we're just going to keep talking, which apparently broke with protocol, but hey, we did it anyway, and we got away with it. So I mean, timing wise, you're sitting there and you've got to be watching us. So if you're in charge of it, there's a fair bit of pressure there. I don't like pressure. I hate it. So I don't know if I'd be the best to actually hosting a radio session or a spot of my own. I don't know. But we've got a few other ideas cooking. So we're going to bounce them around and see what comes of it. But it was funny because just before we finished, so say about 10 minutes before we finished, after our 2-hour slot, the guy who's got the next session comes in, and he set the alarm off too. And he weren't happy about it. And this is John from Jive Time. Not Drive Time, not Traffic and Travel. This is Jive Time. And John with his little sidewinder hairdo and a perma scowl on his face. And he had a little briefcase as well. I thought, what's in that briefcase? I was immediately struck by the thought of when people thought they saw Jack the Ripper. Oh, he looks like a doctor. He's a well-heeled, well-to-do gentleman. And he's got one of those proper medical cases and all that. And I just looked at that case. I thought, you're here to do a radio show. What's in the case? And your session must finish maybe 2 hours from now. So that would take you to 9 o'clock. And then you're prowling around the park with that. These thoughts went through my head. And but John wasn't very... I mean, you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He walked in and set the alarm off himself because this whole thing of this... They didn't know anyone was up there and the alarm got reset and all that stupidly. So, anyway, and the studio boss who's listening in was phoning Justin when the songs were playing. So he's sitting there and he's going, yeah, it's going well, isn't it? It's going well. And obviously she's going, well, I want this alarm, blah, 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 blah. And he's like... And then this guy comes in with his jazzy jive hands. Not happy. And poor Justin's going, is that the alarm? Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, yeah, well, you should have done it. Should have marked in that you were in and all that. That's what should have happened. I said, well, I didn't know. Someone moved the board on me. It's outside here when it should be downstairs. Sorry, it's downstairs when it should have been outside here. And I walked in and it wasn't there. So I'm like, well, I haven't got time to look around for it. It's all started in a few minutes. With this guy, John. Jivey John, He's probably Jono when he puts his headphones on. I mean, he's this sort of he's a guy older than me, and jive, with jive bunny shite and all that kind of thing, And I bet when he puts his earphones on and he flicks on live, his voice will change completely from the sarcastic, you're meant to let them know that you're up here, yes, I haven't got time for messing around with alarms, it throws everything off. And he was like, I thought, shut up, get a life, for fuck's sake. We went through the alarm and we carried on. We're professionals. And you can imagine that he sits down, like, and his earphones go on. He probably puts a mask on and a big fake, Tom Selleck moustache goes on, like, hey folks, it's Jono from Jive Time. Now get your hands ready because it's time to let loose. And we've got some whatever the fucking shit jive. What's jive music? Jitterbug, all that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. He's probably sound, but it didn't come across that way to us. But I can imagine how you come in a fucking fury, and then suddenly, right, we're going live. Woo. Hey! It's jive time. Oh god. But yeah, such good fun. I hope it continues. Now, I've got a lot of videos to do. It's been a busy week. Stuff with Big Kilt Mama. Work, very busy. Radio interviews, of course. And lots of drinkage taking place. And we've got a Predator video coming up right after this one. And then there's another unboxing to do, which is right over there. Yeah, you know him, you love him. It's Steve 007 Smith. Sent another canvas, and I'm going to try and work that one out. So, and it's also the start of the Rugby Six Nations, and this afternoon at 4:45, Scotland take on England. Oh yes, they do. Scotland's younger team, who've had another couple of years now to get more experience under the belt and find their feet, as it were, and they were formidable last time around, so got a good chance here. Now, I'll be going out, I'll be going oot and about, and I'll be watching this in the Telegraph, and I will be bedecked in the war paint, the William Wallace war paint, the Mel Gibson style war paint, which they didn't wear in the day of William Wallace. That was several hundred years before the Picts wore that blue and white war paint. And they didn't wear kilts either, because kilts was a couple hundred years after William Wallace. But hey, it's a great movie, and it's a great look, so I'll be sporting that, and we'll be in the boozer later. So it's going to be a busy old day. Now, folks, I did this because people were asking, can we listen to this radio show, or can you put it on, or can you at least report on it? And now I have. So it's wonderful. I hope you get the chance. I hope the link works. If it doesn't, I don't know. All you got to do then is just go on to, oh, hang on a minute, no. I was going to say, if you go on to New Brighton Radio, you'd find it, but I don't think you will. You can listen live when you click on it. When you find New Brighton Radio, you just click live. It's all online. Everything is online now, isn't it? It's not so much like radio waves and that kind of thing. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say, fabulous KAB, Antonio Bay, The Fog. I don't know why I'm playing Elmer Bernstein's fantastic score for The Magnificent Seven, other than the fact that I friggin' love it. But let's just go on to The Fog again. John Carpenter's The Fog. I played this last time when talking about the radio show, and because, as you know, Adrienne Barbeau, who's playing radio DJ Stevie Wayne, is housed in an isolated lighthouse during the events of The Fog, where these murderous mariners who were lured to their icy death in the sea just off the coast of Antonio Bay return 100 years later to wreak revenge upon the descendants of the ones who led them to their deaths. And she has a last stand in the radio station, and the radio station there, fabulous KAB, Antonio Bay, top of the world, is housed in a lighthouse on the cliffs. New Brighton Radio, right? Get on this. And I did not know this, that their emblem is a lighthouse with the radio beams coming out of it. Why? Because I live on the coast. I'm on the Wirral Peninsula, the northwestern tip of the Wirral Peninsula, just opposite Liverpool. So right on the banks of the Mersey. That's where I am right now, as it happens. And that's where Kilt-Man was built. And we've got lighthouses, quite a lot of them around here, because obviously Mersey and the Irish Sea, huge shipping lane. Certainly used to be. So from hundreds of years ago. So we've got lots of lighthouses, and you've got New Brighton Lighthouse. So their emblem is a lighthouse, and I just thought Because I was saying about like, you know, Antonio Bay and the Fog and Stevie Wayne, and like how cool that was. And I didn't know that their emblem was a friggin' lighthouse as well. And it's just like, oh, perfect. So I think if you looked at that video just earlier, you might see it. I think I must have shown it at some point. I can't remember. In all the chaos of a studio, and you're about to go on air. You're about to go live. You've got one of those fucking things up in, you know, a big like, clock, tick 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 tick, and like you've got like live on air and all this, and it's like, cheers. Still warm. It's only a fresh kill. So folks, there you go. So Predator and an unboxing coming today, and then beware, because if Scotland win and I'm bedecked in all the my Highland Warrior attire, there could be another video. But I'm not going to promise that, because I might be in some really, really awful state of either massive euphoria or no. Even if we lose, euphoria always gets the better of me anyway. So folks, anyway, in the meantime, and this ever confusing helter-skelter in between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. I've listened to Justin and his slogans and taglines, and now I'm like, and that was the other thing. Oh, we're over to Kilt-Man now. I'm sitting there with the headphones on, and I almost blurted out, "Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man, that's your services." You know, it wouldn't have meant nothing to most of the people listening. Anyway, folks, take it easy, and I'm going to see you all. Radio. Video is going to kill me off, you know?